Now welcome back to the road to 10k or 25k, turning £1,000 into £25,000 by flipping cool cars. Now our Fiesta is the last thing that we've been working on, and it has been taking us a long time. Now there is some big news with the Fiesta, and it's coming up in the next video, and that means that I actually don't have the Fiesta in my hands anymore. We've not sold it yet, but we currently don't have it. So in the meantime, we're going to have to buy something else. So let's show you what we've got to replace the Fiesta. I've not seen this thing. I've agreed to just buy it. So I hope it's okay. And it's quite funny, we're literally around the corner from Adam C's house. I just messaged him and I said, are you in? Because I'll pop around and say hello. So if he does reply, we'll go and say hello to him. But we need to pick up this damn car first. It's around here somewhere. Hopefully he's all right. Now when going picking up a car with a trailer, the main stress is what sort of road do they live down? Is it like a wide road with like nobody parking there? Or is it one of those roads where like not many people have driveways and everyone just parks on the street? So you literally can barely get a trailer down. There's nowhere to turn around. There's nowhere to load it without people trying to come up and down. That's fucking stressful. When I picked up the Megane, it was like the worst situation to pick up a car. It was so stressful. It was in Brighton, single lane, and it was on a hill as well. So it was like, oh, it was so busy, and it was like 7 o'clock. It was horrendous. So it's quite quiet around here. It's quite nice. So hopefully it's not going to be a stressful time to load the damn thing. Okay, this is good. It's quite. Oh, that looks like a nice pub. Look at that pub. Oh yeah, the Frog. That actually looks really nice. I'm not going to go in there now, but right, this is good. We've got lots of, it's quiet, lots of places to pull over. This is all right.
I use pumpkin as yeah.
Yes. Oh, nice. Okay, it's on the trailer. We went and popped by and saw Adam C as well. And the dog. Oh my God, Pumpkin is so damn fucking cute. So we got the car on the trailer. That was probably one of the easiest cars I've ever picked up, really. I said, look, as long as it turns on, I'm going to put it on the trailer. And it turned on, put it on the trailer. But there's one thing wrong with it, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is actually a massive deal. And it's something you don't really think about when you're buying a car, especially sight unseen. And, you know, and only until I found it out, I was like, oh, actually, this is a really big problem. I already agreed to buy it, and it's like, it's silly, but it's not silly. It's like really important, and I'm actually more worried about that little thing than whatever's wrong with it. So we'll cut to the cinematic and we'll show you what we've bought. Right, so we're back at the unit. We've got the car off the trailer. We've got a hell of a long day today, so I'm gonna have to do this reveal sort of thing quite quickly. So I've got to take 2 cars. I've got to go and drop a car off and collect another car back here. So we've got a long day today. So let's go and show you this new whip. A Mercedes, and it's a CLA 180. I am sorry that it's not some 80s or 90s shitbox like we usually buy. Now this is meant to be a car flipping series, right? We're meant to flip cars. Recently, I think I've been going a little bit too far and beyond, and I think you guys are going to let me off for having a little bit of a mental and physical break. So let's just quickly recap the past few cars we've had and why this is almost turning into a fucking restoration channel. So these are the most recent cars that we've had, right? We've had these 2 Subarus, which have been off the road for God knows how long. They both didn't drive. They were completely rotten. I had to take the engines out of both of them, and I actually had to rebuild an engine from scratch for the red one. Then we bought this Audi S3, which had been off the road for over 10 years, sat in a barn, and needed every job under the sun needed doing to it. And then we've most recently bought this Fiesta, which again been off the road for over 10 years. Again, didn't even run, needed engine work, and completely rotten as well. So you can see why I think I needed a little bit of a break, because these are big jobs for professional garages, which I am not. So I thought I'd do something a little bit more relatable for this one build, as the past 4 cars have been absolutely outrageous long stuff. This is a CLA 180, it's a Mercedes, and it's a 2013, it's got 100,000 miles, it is black, which is nice. and I don't really know what else about it because it's a Mercedes. Now this popped up and it was for sale for around 3,300. I would probably be able to sell this car for around 4 grand, probably. Now, he had it up for a little bit of a while, and when you've got a trailer, you've got a little bit of bargaining. You say, look, I've got a trailer, I'm just going to turn up and I'm just going to take it. And you can usually offer a low amount, send them a photo of the trailer, and people are just happy to do it because selling a car is a pain in the ass. I just said, look, 2,500, I'll come and get it now with the trailer, and he agreed. So we got this for 2.5 grand, and I should be able to sell it for around 4. Now, what is wrong with it? And thank God for Holy, because this is the only thing that's getting me up in the morning. About a year and a half ago, I was so close to quitting YouTube. I actually got recommended vitamin B12 tablets, and they massively helped. Now, I actually came across Holy, and they've got the same amount of vitamin B12 in this one drink than the tablets did, but with 13 other different vitamins and nootropics designed specifically to help lift your moods.
And because it's just vitamins and nootropics, that means there's 0 sugar, 0 taurine, and no added flavour.
In fact, their tagline as a company is no bullshit, which means there's no bullshit in this, lads. I've been drinking these every single day since September 2024. I've got tons of it in my cupboard, and I've actually got tons of my friends in it as well. I recommend this stuff so much to every single person that I meet on or off camera. They do a bunch of different flavours. In fact, this is the second one I poured today, because I knew that I was going to drink the other one before doing this video, and I did. Now, over 36 new people signed up to Holy using my code from the last video alone, and I think that's because you guys can genuinely see that I actually do use this stuff, and it's amazing because Holy are absolutely loving the fact that so many of you guys are signing up. It helps me out massively, so I know you're going to go and try Holy, but I also know a load of people don't actually use my code, so go and use my code. It's on the screen now. It helps me out. You'll get some good discounts, and you need to try this drink. It is honestly insane. This is the tangerine flavour, probably my 3rd or 4th favourite flavour out of the 369 flavours I've got in my fucking cupboard.
And they're celebrating Valentine's Day with a bunch of new flavours and a bunch of bundles as well. This Lollipop Lovebird one is currently my number 1.
Probably something nice and easy, Gary says, although Gary was the one yesterday who was trying to ship me up because he was saying timing chain. It's got to be the timing chain. It's going to be a timing chain. It's going to be a timing chain. It's not a timing chain, I don't think. It doesn't sound like a timing chain, but there is an engine management light on, and I've not scanned it yet. All I've done is just took the word off the guy, and he says there is a misfire. And when you're starting up, it doesn't sound like a misfire, but it is in some kind of limp mode. But we'll start it up, and I'll show you how healthy the engine actually sounds. There's a manual as well, which a lot of people don't like. I actually like manuals because they're just less problems, you know? Starts up great. And it idles great as well. So we'll go and open the bonnet and we'll show you how good it sounds. So right now, it doesn't even sound like it's got a misfire. There's a little bit of an engine shake, but when you're listening to it, it really doesn't sound bad at all. But there is an engine light on, and I do believe the guy when he says there is a misfire. When I'm driving it around the unit, it feels really sluggish, so I think it's in some kind of limp mode. Now, why that is, I don't really know, but it was worth a gamble. Now, when I started this series, I did want to do cool cars, but we're going to mix up a little bit because it is, in theory, about making money, you know. So when we've got a car which takes 6 months to do, it's not exactly fit for purpose, is it, doing the series? So, because it's a petrol, it's not a diesel, so ultimately everything just gets way more simpler. I'm going to show you how to fix a misfire and what the procedure is and how easy it can actually really be. Now, petrol engine needs 4 things, and it's going to be one of these 4 things. It needs a spark, it needs fuel, it needs air, and it needs compression to put all those 3 things together. Now, the worst one of those things is compression, and it's usually not a compression problem. So it's probably going to be something either spark related or fuel related. Now, I'm going to take a wild guess before even touching this car or even scanning it. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be an injector or a coil pack. And let's just take a wild guess. I'm going to say, I think coil pack would be too easy. So I'm going to say it's an injector. I'm going to say it's an injector. Let's go and ask the guys and see what they think. Right, we're getting everyone's opinion. Now, Gary's a good person to ask because Gary, for many, many years, owned a German garage, didn't you, Gary?
No.
Yes, you did. What do you think it's going to be? I mean, I have no idea, but I've guessed. What do you think it's going to be?
Compression test first. See if you've got any compression.
You're going straight for the scary stuff?
Yeah, for you, yeah. Because I know you've got loads of spare time in your to do that.
Oh,
type of
yeah.
job.
Kieran, what do you think it is?
Misfire, Kieran.
Misfire on a CLA petrol Merc, what do you think it is?
I reckon compression test as well.
Do you think it's going to be low on compression?
Well, no. If you do,
Well, I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you what you would do. I'm asking you what you think it might be.
Oh, right. If you do a compression test,
Yeah, but I don't.
right. If you do a compression test and the compressions are good, then you can start looking at coils.
I'm not doing a compression. I'm going to do the easy stuff first. I'm going to scan it first.
Oh, well, yeah, but,
So, yeah, but what do you think it's going to be?
it might even be a coil.
Coil. I think it's going to be.
Well,
on
what's
the
been
Merc.
guessed already?
I've gone injector. Gary's gone coil pack.
Yeah.
You
I
can
reckon
do the same.
timing.
You think it's going to be timing out?
I don't know. I'm just fucking guessing.
Why is everyone doing the scary shit? Right, what do you think it's going to be?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Coil pack.
Coil pack. Okay, right. I hope so. Some guys like to do that to me. They like to try and scare me, but they forget that I am Lockwood Fabrications and I'm not scared by anything. The first thing we're going to do is literally just scan it, and it might even just tell us the problem straight away.
Now, at first, I was extremely happy because it was pointing to an oxygen sensor. You can see my little face there being very happy. I thought, oh, we'll change an O2 sensor. And then I was thinking, it is actually misfiring. And an O2 sensor probably wouldn't cause a misfire. So I need to go and look at the engine first.
I can hear and feel a misfire. Right, the code's come back up and it's saying no code. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the first test to find out which one it's missing on. So we're just going to pull each cylinder off. And if the idle changes, it's not that cylinder. Right, so it's not that one. That's it. That cylinder. So what we can do is now we know it's the cylinder number 1, 2, 3. So cylinder number 3, what we can do is now we can just start changing things over. So, you want to do a compression test?
Now, Gary's starting to scare me here because he keeps mentioning compression.
So I'm going to put the number 4 coil pack on number 3, do the same test, and then see if the misfire moves with the coil pack. If it doesn't move with the coil pack, then it's either something, it's on that cylinder, so it's probably going to be an injector, a spark plug, or compression. Gary's nodding his head, he thinks the compression's down. You think so?
So we're going to do the easiest thing first, and we've got a misfire on cylinder 3. So we're going to change number 3 coil pack over to number 4. Now, if the misfire is still on number 3, we can rule out that the coil pack is the problem.
We changed the coil packs over, so we're going to fire it up and pray that it's moved cylinders. No, it's still that cylinder. When I'm pulling it out, it makes no difference to the engine. Can you hear that? So that means it's either an injector, a spark plug, or compression on that cylinder. Uh-oh. Not the coil, Gary.
No, so the best thing we can do now is take all the coils off, take all this out, take all the coils off, do a compression test, and that will eliminate
Yeah.
that side.
We know the engine's good then.
Yeah, we know the engine's
Was
good.
you saying that you think
these suffer from? I think this engine suffer from valve seats as well on the valves, so it might have a bad valve seat. Hope it ain't. It's quite a big job for you.
Head off, innit?
Yeah, it's a lot of work for you. So I'm hoping it ain't going to be that. I'm just hoping we can do the take these out, do a compression test.
I mean, it still could be an injector, but the
could be
worrying thing is all this, isn't it?
Someone's had a go.
Look, you see, they've been splicing there to do wiring tests.
Yeah, they've been spiking it up. So someone's already had a right old go at it, trying to eliminate what it is. But but I've had a few of these engines where we've had bad valve seats.
Right. So there goes that day turnaround.
Yeah, I'll see you next month.
So the annoying thing is that I've not got too much time today, and right now it's right in front of the unit, and I am doing some of the work. So I kind of just wanted to see if it was something really simple like a coil. It still might be something simple. It's probably not anything. It's probably not anything on the on the spark side of things anymore. The last hopeful case is that it's something fuel related on the injector.
Someone's had a right old go at it, and
It's a bit worrying, but
someone's had.
unless they have said, right, well, it's getting fuel, it's got compression, why is it not running on that cylinder?
Jesus. Yeah, someone's had to try to repair it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Someone's had a go at doing it. Then you've popped along and bought it.
And I've bought it. You know what? One day I'll get a car and it'll be an easy fix. One day it'll happen. You know, as I was saying, oh, it might be an easy fix. I was like, Lee, you are the most unluckiest person in the world when it comes to cars. So I think in the next video, guys, we're going to get it into a place where it can be worked on. Because right now it's just right outside in front of the garage. We're going to get to a place where it can properly be worked on and dive down what it is. Now I know that it's misfiring on the cylinder. The O2 sensor code is probably being caused by that misfire, most likely. Now, it's strange that the misfire isn't picking it up, especially, that's what's worrying me, because the ECU isn't recognising a problem on that cylinder, which kind of says that the coil's fine and the injector's fine, which might be leading to the point that the compression is low on the engine, and that is really not good. But in the next video, we're going to probably deep into what the hell's going on with this engine and if this was a good purchase or not, because right now, I'm worried. And I'm going to tell you that really annoying thing, which I am really worried about. It stinks of smoke inside the car. It doesn't sound like a bad thing, but trust me, it's almost impossible to get that smell away, and selling a car that smells of smoke is really difficult, and it does really annoy me when people smoke in cars. So right now, that's a big problem as well when it comes to trying to sell this thing. So we'll see you in the next video, guys.